Outboard meeting. I'm gonna keep this as quick and brief as possible. We have a sign-in sheet, so please sign in. An easy way to keep track of everyone coming. In the room, we have Amy, you're here. Carol,
Right.
Carol, right? Chloe, sorry,
Chloe.
Chloe. I keep forgetting. I'm terrible with names. I'm sorry about that. Chloe, Greg, Michael, Art, and Heidi. Online, we have Kelly, Natalie, Josh, and Darlene. Are there any changes? Anybody need to add or change anything to the agenda?
Hey.
Seeing none, nor online. The first, there's no public comments. I don't see anybody from the public nor online. Any comments, changes to the minutes?
I think you were first. Yeah.
Okay, Amy not present at last month's meeting.
Meeting was at the Whitted building. We like the more compact format. It's a lot easier for me to surmise what we did. So congratulations on that. In line 82, what's MSTA? So that acronym.
Municipal School Transportation Assistance. MSTA, Municipal School Transportation Assistance Program by DOT. What line was it? What line was it? 82.
Other than that, just that, like you know, there are people present who weren't.
That's why I'm doing the sign-in sheet going forward.
Question,
Yes, sir.
in the middle of that 2024 Safe Routes to School paragraph, Sherry questioned issues about River Park Elementary due to traffic flow for school pickup. And you said that you were gonna get an answer for that concern. Have you gotten it yet?
Not yet. I have not gotten a full detailed answer as to what we're going to be doing about it. It's something we're going to be coordinating with the Hillsborough because it's the Hillsborough town limits.
Okay. In a sentence a little bit after that, I didn't understand it. It says Outboard will provide notice, but the board is aware of issues and work with a consultant to clear the narrative to get the issues resolved.
Stakeholder. The word missing in that is stakeholder. The clarifying the stakeholder language in the Safe Routes School plan.
Okay,
Missing the word stakeholder.
all right. Thank you. And has the consultant been put on notice that they're gonna add the lineal feet or miles for each sidewalk, bike lane? And
Yes, they were told. I think they did that. I'll have to go back and look at the full document, but I'm pretty sure they updated the language.
can we get a copy of that once it gets done?
Yes.
Thanks. I didn't have any more comments. Anybody else?
Nothing else. I'll move acceptance as corrected.
I'll second it.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure. Heidi.
In the minutes where it says motion, Randy Marshall, it doesn't say what the motion was.
What line is that?
Oh, motion, Randy Marshall at the very end. There should be approval with corrections.
It's that part that's indented, I think. Yeah.
Motion.
Oh, Josh's motion.
No, I need it. You're right, Heidi. I need to add motion was Randy Marshall motion for approval with corrections with the following corrections. Yes, that you're right. That is missing in here. Yes. You said speed, high priority, no parking, high priority. Everything was high priority. Yeah.
So we've had a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Just give them another correction.
Yeah, that's with the correction. Yes.
Accepted.
Correction.
Or the correction. Thank you very much, Heidi.
This is the first time around because I wasn't quite sure what the motion was. If it was just adding these to the draft or what. Okay. Yeah,
Thank you. My apologies.
So just to clarify, and I'm sure, let me look at the online if there's anyone in comments on online. See no comments online. So the action and second is recommend approval of the minutes with the following corrections. Amy, you are not present. Spell out MSTA. Add the language stakeholder to the clarification that was needed for the language. Randy Marshall had recommended approval with corrections, and one of the corrections is also Heidi's request, the high priority, that everything in the Safe Ride School Plan is high priority, especially reducing speed, parking, sidewalks, and other things that were at lower priority at the time. Did I miss anything? Huh?
top of minutes.
And the address, the Whitted Building is not correct. It's not the West Campus. It was at the Whitted Building. Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. Motion by Art, seconded by Greg. Any opposed? All in favor? I'm sorry for running the meeting. I'm trying to keep it short. Sorry.
I made that for you.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Thank you. The next thing on your agenda is the transportation multimodal plan. This is a end of the planning process. We have one more person coming in. Give me one second.
Pretty sure that's how I got in. He didn't want to. That's for a few days from now. He was coming out when I was walking, so I just assumed it. Come on.
Where in Orange County is that mountain on the cover of the multimodal plan? That's a lot bigger than Occoneechee Mountain. That's looking like it's the Blue Ridge.
It does look a lot like
Big, nice, big old mountain.
it's over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's the actual plan.
Unable to connect. We're saying unable to connect. Is that the click
Yeah, I
share?
wrote it down.
Any luck now?
Sorry, we're still not there, still having trouble connecting or showing.
Probably near the high-speed rail line.
Any luck?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can still hear you.
All right, we're getting back on track. The transportation multimodal plan. When I delivered the packets, I delivered the original material. The online version, the published version has the full document itself on it. The last time y'all saw this item, it was when the prioritization and the list of projects were there and everything. Since then, the only real change to the document is the removal of all town projects. Everything within the town limits was removed because we met with the town staff and coordinated some of the efforts in cleaning this document up. So projects that you see on that list are purely vast, are either 100% in unincorporated town, Orange County, or a small slither of it probably goes into a town like I-40 widening, I-85 widening, or regional corridor that goes through, it's been approved already. So the list that you see was originally about 500-600 projects, is now 300 or so, and mainly focusing on 100% of it is Orange County projects. The full document itself includes the public engagement analysis, the public engagement process, the public engagement summary, all the activities, the prioritization scoring, prioritization process, all the comments received throughout the planning process. Nothing has really changed through the whole thing other than the removal of town projects. So now we have a full draft document that explains the whole consolidation, the purpose behind it, the schedule of the planning process, how they arrived at this, details of all the documents that went into feeding this thing. As you can see, there are so many. This also does include, another change is, since y'all recommended the Safe Route to School be approved and the short range transit plan to be approved, those projects are also in this document because those are 100% Orange County and Town Hillsborough coordinated together projects. So those projects are listed in here. To the point that you see, there's in the document, there's these roadway project list, high bike ped project list, page 22, 23, 24, the trails and the rail projects, and the policies, recommendations that go with it. The full public engagement, data-driven prioritization process, how they arrived at it, and the final results. As you can see, Orange Grove, yes. 100, county population is like 160,000.
The public engagement was for 100 responses, basically 100 to 100,000 to make decisions.
Now, I also noted that only 11 of those households made less than $50,000. So people who would benefit the most from most of the multimodal projects didn't really have an opportunity, or they didn't, somehow they weren't reached.
Or they weren't aware.
It concerns me politically presenting it to our BOCC, because if you look at the public engagement summary, the responses are from women over age 45 in households that make more than $100,000 a year. It's 73% over 45, 59% women, 48% making more than 100,000 a year. So, and
And I
almost
like
all
I
white.
like this is what you call faulty data.
Or the first, for example, for the Muslim population, and I'm new to the group, that's my first blush at going through the material. It left out at me right away.
Public,
Let me just make a comment, not to be dismissive of that concern. But I'm involved with the 2050 land use plan
Okay.
that's being drafted, very similar. 100 and some inputs in a county that's of 100 and some thousand that's going to be affected by the plan. And I'm not trying to be dismissive. I'm just saying that in conversations with some of the commissioners, that's the feedback I get from them is fairly typical. That's typical response.
y'all are absolutely right. Y'all are absolutely right about how public engagement doesn't get much feedback into it. Okay, he explained one, the short range transit plan process that we just went through and completed the short range transit plan. It covers the entire county. Our transit service area is the entire county. It includes all of Chapel Hill, Carrboro, Hillsborough, Mebane goes outside in Durham and other places. That consultant, Nelson Nygaard, went to Walmart, community centers, farmers markets, all activities, engagements, even in areas of Mebane farmers market, presented the BPAC in Mebane. They went to Chapel Hill, Seymour Center and other places in coordinating. We did the same with the US 70 corridor study, NC 54 corridor study, doing multiple engagements. Throughout my experience as a profession, this is just a technical outlook of public engagement. Even when Orange County we did our department-specific Orange County Public Transportation Services Public Involvement Plan that talks about this guiding to social media. 3 to 5% of the population is what we get out of the public, even though the population we serve is 100 to 200,000. It's like random sampling the data that we get from the people who participate. It's a very troubling way of trying to get more people to
Would you
engage.
say though that at the end of the day, the experts in the field, the professionals such as yourself, you have an overriding decision-making of the process? I have no problem with that necessarily. I'm just trying to make sure I understand. So,
No, I wouldn't extrapolate my statement to that extent.
I don't think technical experts, we override any of the public engagement. It's
you have
treated,
the expertise, obviously, that the lay person doesn't have when they're focused on, like from the comments. Yes, it's very much driven by people of a certain socioeconomic classification. Does that really represent? You have the data, I'm sure, population studies, we know what the total demographics are. How much do they match up when you make these final decisions, is my question.
I don't think public engagement, no matter, because even in DCCMPO, their staff is also gotten into demographic and analyzing the demographics of public engagement, like the socioeconomic stuff, the minorities, race and economics and education and stuff like that can participate in the public engagement. There's never been a equal to here's the planning area, here's the equal demographic of that representation of that planning study. Whether it's a corridor study, a safe route to school plan, or short range transit plan, or any plan document that we work on, even the comprehensive transportation plan or multimodal transportation plan. I mean, the MPO did the spot 7 project list selection when we were determining on what projects to give. They had over 1,000 people participate in the public engagement surveys and stuff like that, but the demographic didn't equate to the actual population that was being planned for.
Didn't expect that to be the case either. People who are more engaged are not necessarily the ones that would benefit
Yeah.
the most.
We translated this document to Spanish. We provided Spanish translations for this stuff to get public engagement involved. I mean, we did Spanish translations, huh? We didn't go to the laundromats themselves. That would have been great to do, go to the actual laundromats and stuff. But I mean, the short range transit plan, Nelson Nygaard went to Elfland Cheeks Community Center. I went to the Cedar Grove Community Center. That try to get some of the areas and demographics, but it's hard to go to middle of other areas that are so rural and scattered. There's gas station service areas. I mean, New Hope Market is one on NC 86 right outside Chapel Hill. I mean, that's another venue that could have been used in other places. We need to work on doing more better engagement. And I don't know what's a good resource to do that. And it's something we'll explore and how to get more people involved. We use the county has a communications department. We blast our information through the county website and stuff like that. They help us. Equity Inclusion is the one who gave us a vendor to translate our documents. So hopefully going forward, we'll be translating to other languages and getting more people involved. But throughout the 2 decades of experience that I've had in planning, I've never seen a project where the public engagement and the planning area were equal.
I think unless somebody has an axe to grind, the public engagement is always low. Look at how it is to get volunteers for this board, right? It's not like people beat down the doors. We got a line of 20 people saying, hey, when can I rotate on?
Yeah.
So,
And we've had challenge with the outboard, getting minorities and other people on this board, on the advisory board for several years since I've been here since 2017. It took me 6 months to get a youth delegate.
So, Art, given your concern about sending this forward to BOCC, any thoughts about how we would couch
Well,
our thoughts in
I
context of
I
that?
would not want this public engagement summary to be the first thing that they see, which the way this was presented, that was the first thing I saw. So I immediately saw those statistics. I wouldn't,
Would it be better as an appendix?
yes, exactly.
It would be better as an appendix because that's what Nelson Nygaard did with the short range transit plan. The public engagement was an appendix.
Exactly.
What's your, Excuse me, I'm sorry.
If they could like, if it's possible to try to weight the data for the underrepresented groups in the survey to like what the actual populations would look like.
I don't think you have enough response to be able to do that.
You mean projected out as reflected out, correlated out what the actual population would be?
Yes, you could do, you could show, you could say it's a trend, but it would not, you would not be able to actually.
It would take a lot of work.
No, it's like 100 responses really isn't indicative of 160,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the against, like, it's hard to say the against, you know, a couple of them had like 2 or 3 comments against each of those, so. I mean, what's that, 2%, 3%?
Where you get in trouble is if you say majority of the respondents said, because in my mind, that means nothing.
Right.
So simply say respondents said, rather than any group of respondents.
Yeah. Say majority of the respondents said, this is what's needed, so this is what we're gonna do, or several people said that they didn't want a bus going through their neighborhood. They're not gonna do, I mean, not their neighborhood, first of all.
Right.
Secondly, they're not those people that didn't hear from.
Yeah. So one thing is I get the consultant to move the public engagement summary as simply as an appendix to the document. I don't think it would be, we can ask for the full population data, but I think that will be part of the land use plan that's being done to show, because that's getting more into the details of the whole actual demographics and the economics of the entire population. And they're using census data, they're using land use data, they're using actual available published data that are out there rather than areas. But I will ask and see what they can do, if anything.
I was only thinking that how long can do it. But
Yeah.
I do remember this last data behind.
There's some aspects. Timeline. But I had an opportunity to respond. I wanted to be able to put an input in still. It could be helpful for me to understand the synopsis, what was suggested for the plans, and I could then say, yes, I think that that's something that is valuable to, as long as it's represented correctly, unlike the last thing that we had a synopsis. That, I think that I would really like to be able to say, these are the things that in general are being recommended. Give another input and say, yes, I agree with that, or no, I don't agree. Get a little bit more.
I can,
Pages 51 to 59 there. Or 60.
the synopsis is, I can try to attempt to give you the boilerplate.
I think it's a good place for us to get feedback, because you've got people who are unfortunately trapped, but they're in the DOT waiting to do something. I would really like to work with them, especially since it's related to transportation. There's plenty of space for an announcement of something to say, this is your opportunity to provide input on the transportation where you live. And it's just a statement where people come in and complete surveys like this. You have an audience that's sitting there on their phone because they have nothing else to do. And it's a great place and it's completely relevant to this. And you get the whole demographics of the counties. Everybody has to go to the DOT, unfortunately. Not everybody. Okay, well, okay, a lot of here that ride the buses do not. There's still opportunities that have to go to the DOT, like it could be that for other reasons. So I still think you get a pretty good representation. I wouldn't.
How? I mean, how would we do that? I mean, what mechanism would we use?
I would work with, well.
Because please understand, public involvement in transportation planning, DOT goes through its own public involvement when they do a project.
I guess I get my statistics right, over 90% of people in our county have a smartphone. They could complete the survey on their phone while they're sitting in the DOT. So I'm just saying, there's a board up in the DOT office where people go, and it's literally like, here's what we're planning to do to you. Are you talking about the DM thing? I'm sorry, am I saying DM?
You're saying DOT. DOT is a maintenance yard. DMV. You're saying DMV. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Good audience there, where they're literally sitting there and unless they brought a book, have nothing else to do. So completing a survey that at that point in time is 100% relevant to them seems like the ideal place. And
That is something I will update our department-specific public involvement plan. I will add that to our department-specific public involvement plan, and I will work with DMV to make sure we do any planning projects or broadcasted. Yeah. But I will do that.
Yeah. together.
That is required by us by the county strategic plan. The county strategic plan requires us to do a survey like that every 2 years. No, what I'm saying is something different. What I'm referring to what you were saying earlier for every project. For every planning project or any physical infrastructure project, the strategic plan requires us to go out to the community and get survey results of follow-up on projects. This is a living document. The conclusion requires me to go through this update process every few years to keep this a living document to go through this public involvement. It's in planning, part of the standard operating procedures for this stuff is even though when you complete a plan or complete a document, there's a monitoring and updating process. Hence a living document. That monitoring and living process is in the conclusion is this is saying every 5 years. Because right now the project list that you see, all these projects, they're already adopted projects. They're in the conservation plan, metropolitan transportation plan, or locally adopted plan, the collector street plan. They're not new. Nothing in this is new work other than the short range transit plan that just got adopted and the safe area school plan that just got updated. Those are the only new stuff. So what the synopsis, that list of projects you see from page 51 through, I'm gonna update our public involvement plan for the department to ensure that anytime anything is being done, that we are going out to the public a little bit more in trying to get that area.
There's still all this stuff that we are planning, we've got in all these different plans. I just think the captive audience where you can make people aware of something that's relevant, especially relevant to them at that point in time. Where you can give them the information that they want, but in a synopsis so that it's not, hey, by the way, we have a 300-page document.
That's what Nelson Nygaard did that with the short range transit plan. When we did the short range transit plan, they had a 1-page sheet. That 1-pager had the survey in it. Like you had the synopsis, and on the back is the survey, and they had a QR code where you just fill out a survey. So we did that, and I think we only got like this plan, only 100 and some people participated in that, and it was transit specific. No,
Yeah, I've never gotten one.
I think there was also this year has been a bit of an overload to the public and public in planning, land use plan, climate action plan, strategic plan, safer to school plan, short range transit plan, MPO plans and RPO plans and yeah. Farmers markets, community centers, library. I mean, I was at Walmart hanging out with the table with the consultant at the Walmart outside the front door of the Walmart, passing it out and stuff. I mean, yeah.
Bus.
The first round of public engagement during the short range transit plan, they put big boards and flyers up at the bus stops and they got vandalized. We tried that a couple of times. We put flyers and stuff out there. I've even Weaver Street Market and a couple places and stuff like that. Yeah. You stick it on the bulletin board. They have a board that you put it out.
Yeah. It's like, what are what are the key things that draw people's attention to understand that their voice is needed in this? Because the result is if they don't put their voice in, they're gonna end up with something that's going through their neighborhood or not going through their neighborhood. So they don't get the bus that they really wanted, or they don't get the crowd that they really need, or they end up with a massive road that they were not expecting to have. I mean, it's just. But it has to be relevant. They have to understand that there's something in it for them. And it's not just this nebulous thing that, oh, in 30 years, which I'm not even gonna be here in 30 years or, whatever. So it's just, it has to be something front and center to say, no, this is something that is for you. This is for you.
Yeah.
Would you like a different way home from this place? Scan this QR code. Something. It's just like, yeah.
I honestly think the like raffle idea could get more people to like do it. I get, like, obviously it would cost for that to happen, but I feel like there'd probably be more responses.
You're absolutely right. Raffle, free stuff and things like that would be great thing. From my experience, and this is my 2 cents. My biggest turnout that I've had in public engagement is with 4 years ago, I presented Transportation 101 to the fourth graders at the expedition school. They had so much fun. I got more from the school and the kids in that school than I've had in ever any planning project. Schools is another place we can reach out to, but yeah. The short,
The kids excited about something. If you get the kids excited about it and they are taking it home, they'll bug their parents to do it.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
what-
it'd be the right age group to.
when we did the short range transit, I don't know if you remember in 2019, when we did the Eflin Buckhorn Urban Access Management Plan, the area between Eflin and Buckhorn. We were at Gravely Hill, I mean, not Grady Brown, what is it? Grady Brown is on West 10 Road. Is it Grady Brown on West 10?
No,
Grady
great,
Brown's on Grady Brown.
yeah.
No, Gravely Hill Middle, Gravely Hill.
Yeah,
Gravely Hill is on West 10, so it's a middle school between Hillsborough and Mebane, it's on West 10. We were at that school at the gymnasium and even though the parents were there, it was a big thing. Students came, 2 town people came. It was a presentation table, chairs were there. We were at the auditorium. Yeah, going for it, I must start working on schools.
When you're at like the Walmarts, how engaged are people? Like, Are they looking at their shoes, walking past you, or are they actually stopping?
Family stopped and talked. Individuals didn't.
They're doing something, not doing something. Sports events, they're sitting there. They're just sitting there. Anytime where somebody's, and when somebody's just sitting, they're usually doing this, they're talking to their friend and still doing this. So might as well be filling out a survey while they're just,
Right.
but, I mean, you find people where they sit, not where they're like moving.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna take a flyer and they go, yeah, and then it's gonna end up somewhere, as I think that we did.
What about like that park?
We'll find out how the county's trail plan update is gonna go through and how that engagement process, we'll learn from that experience. And I'm sure Stantec will help us with the bike ped plan. I'm sure we'll learn public engagement through that bike ped stuff. How do we get advocates and groups involved in?
Can y'all hear us yet?
Yeah, we hear you, Josh.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think one thing to
That's
note
great.
is, yeah, one thing to notice that while the broader public engagement may not be representative, it's tough to do, and it's also not necessarily, this group isn't necessarily representative. I think that's kind of the challenge of engagement, is you get engaged folks and they tend to be richer and of certain demographics. It's tough to really find the right answer.
I think engagement in general, I'm speaking on the business side. I set out stuff to teach partners how to make money. To even get a click rate of 1% is almost impossible. And that's
Yeah.
putting money directly in their pocket, let alone doing something that's for the better group, community. It's people just, I don't know if it's COVID, but I'm just finding engagement is way off. People don't want to come out and meet. They used to want to go have lunch. No one wants to do anything.
Or if
Put
there's
me on
something
a-
free involved.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll just point out that while Nish was trying to get the technical stuff, this group was riffing about how long we've been on this board and how, we've come back to it and there's been, multiple years served. I think that kind of reflects the level of engagement in the community if we can't find other folks to help fill those seats.
Yeah.
You can.
What he was saying is even on the getting people to change and demo and get involved on the advisory boards and stuff like that. I mean, people who terms expire, we can't get anybody else to fill that position. That person just stays on and continues. I mean, I just got a phone call recently. The animal services is now looking for a youth delegate. This idea of getting youth involved in other advisory boards is spreading, and they're getting challenged and difficulty of getting more and more people involved in all these advisory boards.
Did other
And-
advisors, do they not usually have delegates?
I learned from Parks and Recs. I was Parks and Rec started it. Parks and Recs has a committee with a youth delegate, and they've had trouble getting a youth delegate on the Parks and Recs committee. You're the second committee to have. We're the second committee to have a youth delegate. Animal Service is going to be another one, and hopefully it'll spread. So getting more involved in this would be great.
I don't know if this is legal or not, but what about like in voting lines, like when people have to wait outside at like the. That makes sense, but what's,
I think voting the candidates are even restricted.
Oh, yeah, they're.
Yeah. that was allowed or not, but I thought everyone's like, they gotta wait for a long time, so
And it's,
it makes sense.
None of us know for sure.
we could try, and worst thing is I'll get kicked out and said leave. Yeah, President Director of the county gets arrested trying to get people engaged.
We'll just leave you in jail for a little bit.
County transportation staff tries to get public engaged at a voting booth. It gets, that would be a funny headline.
So can I throw a different comment out?
Yeah.
Right, so looking at the first page of your table and bike ped project 411 ranked pretty well.
51.
51. The number one project is the Orange Grove Road sidewalk and bike lane improvement.
But if you try to go find it on the map,
It is very difficult, yes.
it's actually occluded by 3 other projects.
Yes. Those would be other, yes.
And so I was wondering if that map on page 43 could be retooled so that it's easier to find the projects on there.
That tooling will come from Stantec when we do the bike ped plan itself. Because the tooling that you see, the project, the map that you see here, let me see, what was that page?
It's a map on page 23 of tonight's handout that's on the table.
Yeah, there's supposed to be appendices that have larger versions of
Yeah.
that map.
There'll be another appendices that I don't think I got the full appendices for that. But to clarify your point,
Yeah,
this map that you see on page 23 is along with the map on 24 and along with the map on 22. The layering that you see, the way that you see the map comes from NCDOT's Comprehensive Transportation Plan Geodatabase 2.0. It's their new geodatabase that they want all transportation projects to be identified and how they want them shown. Because these are already adopted projects and adopted plans in locally adopted MPOs and RPO CTP, this list, the way that is shown is DOT standard. We will hopefully update this and improve upon the bike ped projects and the plans when we work with Stantec to do a county-wide bike ped specific plan.
Okay.
That bike ped specific plan will help update this. Hopefully it will be a better, different map. Because the piece of majority of it, like 80% or 90% is in Orange County. There's a piece that goes into Hillsborough. There's little pieces that go in. And I sent this list of projects to Hillsborough saying, what do you want me to do with this list of projects that are in your town? Same thing with Carborough and Chapel Hill, their preference. If they want to change termini, if they want to change projects, we had to go through a CTP amendment. The CTP at the NPO has to be amended to change the project. I cannot make any changes to projects through this plan. The MPO has to make the full change itself. And DOT has to approve that change in an amendment process or CTP update process before any changes can be made.
So can I summarize what I think you said?
Yeah.
We can't do anything about the map.
Not right now. Not till Stantec does their bike ped plan for the county.
And did I hear someone offer that there's an appendix that might
These
offer
maps
more?
are supposed to have connect to appendices where you can do what you wanted to do and spread it out, not have them include each other.
Yeah, I don't have this whole editing yet. I haven't got the ability to edit this or the full appendix yet. The full appendix will have more details, and I think we did that when the existing condition stuff was done back in early this year, where we had the full list of projects. It was a huge spreadsheet that had all kinds of other data and stuff in the beginning. This was like back in March or April of this year, before the public input. The material that created the maps that went to the public engagement. We reviewed the project before we did the public engagement.
So do you have to do that editing personally?
After this is adopted, it'll be on, I'd have to go through each one, individual one, yeah, yes.
You. All right.
Yeah, I've already started making highlights and notes and doing the finalizing of this list, saying, hey, this needs to change, this needs to change. Josh at Cat Chapel Hill is helping me with Chapel Hill list. Stephanie is helping me with the Hillsborough list. Tina and Becca is helping me with the Carborough list. Ashley's helping me with the
Okay.
Medbend list. So I get help from the towns are helping when we get this thing done.
Cool, just checking in. But are you saying the DOT can't produce that map for each of those different categories? So we could look at it, page 23 for just bicycle, and then we could look at it for just.
Yeah, I can do that when this is adopted. I can make an interactive map that you just go online and turn the layer
Well, I
off.
don't mean interactive. I mean,
In this document, separate one, you want to create separate ones to add separate, like here's the bike projects, here's the trail projects.
I don't want to make work for you, but I'm just
The
wondering,
data is there available. I can ask the consultant if they could just simply create a separate map.
yeah, if the overlay of the projects that include the names could be resolved by just layering the map project type by project type. So you end up with maybe 3 maps instead of
One,
one.
yeah. So recommendation would be would be, if you would have recommended approval, would be with the separation of these projects. I mean, the bike ped map, I mean, even the transit map, the rail projects can be separated from the transit projects.
Yeah, I haven't even focused on those, but I noticed that on the transit and rail, I could read it.
Yeah.
Because there's not so many of them.
These were the original in the CTP. These trails were identified in the comprehensive irrigation plan already. So when deeper updates the trails plan, this will have to be updated. I don't know. All I know is there were lines on the map. We were reading, when we were doing the existing condition analysis of this document, when we were doing the plans, the trails was in the CTP of the DCSC and PO, and there was no chapter or section for Orange County's trails. It didn't distinguish them. It just put a line on the map saying trail. I think the RPO didn't even have a narrative. It just had a line on the map and a trail. This is the CTP, the comprehensive transportation plan. This is not any, very little of this, unless it's in the STIP, it's not a project. It's just a plan. The geodatabase, the GIS data that created the line and the graphics, the color, the number, let me clarify. When I came on 2017, the comprehensive transportation plan, the visionary document for the plan, is in 3 areas. 2 MPOs have it and the RPO has it. When I was studying the CTP, in these 3 documents, it was line on the map saying trail. There was no DCAC and POCTP has more narrative, has more writing in it. There was no writing about the types of trail. The RPO and the BGMPO was simply a line on the map saying trail. This is simply what those 3 sets of CTPs in a geo database that DOT approved is how it should be represented on the map. Exactly. Because they're an adaptive CTP. When I think Deeper is going to get a consultant to do a county-wide trails plan, that new plan will detail them. And once that plan is complete, it will be used to update this.
Plan is that?
County trails. Plan.
They haven't consulted a consultant yet. I'll help them go through proposals. The county's trails plan is not even started yet. It is a good. Right. Even though that's going to be really scary when he starts acronyming that.
But this thing trying to draft, and I certainly get usefulness of this document. It was useful to me to read it before it goes before the Orange County Board of County Commissioners. I would strongly recommend putting Orange County images on the cover instead of these that are clearly not from Orange County. In fact, one of them was the Blue Ridge Mountains. And if you couldn't even pass as an honest mistake. On page 18, number 11, the bottom image, that is NC 54 west of Carver and not east of Carver.
I'm sorry, what was that page?
Page 18 and image number 11 or project number 11, whatever the number means. That's NC 54 west of Carver.
Yeah, that is west. Yeah, not east. Yep. That is a good catch.
Page 20, number 14 at the top, Kings Highway Park Connector. this is just something to note. It didn't go in the plan. There's a bad need for a crosswalk there from Ben Johnson into the little parking lot for Kings Highway Park Connector. If people are wanting to actually trace the old road bed as they come back from the amazing rail trestle over the river, it's one of the coolest things in Orange County, while that park's there,
Crosswalk at where?
at the Kings Highway Park. If you take a left fork on the way back, you end up on the wrong side of Ben Johnson where there are curves, and it's sort of like being in a mountain road with cars coming suddenly out of nowhere. That's probably something worth putting in the non-stip somewhere.
That's a, when you said crosswalk, that's a non-step.
Yeah, just paint across.
Yeah.
Put up a sign. Since I'm from Little River, I will note on the sequence of maps here, on page 22 for roadway, there's nothing in Little River. 24 manages to get the tail end of a transit project. And Commissioner McKee will immediately notice that as he looks at the document. The northeast corner of the county.
157 and 57 up northeast corner of the county. There's nothing in, and that is something I've heard.
Yeah, a little bit of this trail 817. Priority number 50.
And that is something I've heard more, North Orange County being neglected and trying to find more ways of reaching out and getting North Orange County involved. When I was studying the CTP and the MTP, it was surprising that there was very little stuff in there. When I did the safety analysis back in 2018, St. Mary's Road going north over there is a major hotspot of accidents and stuff because you don't know when you're actually in Durham. Mhm.
For on page 24.
They do not have it for.
Transit and rail project, transit and rail. They have it for bike ped, they just don't have it for transit and rail. When we, I will mention this, when DCHC MPO completes the 2055 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which will update this, they will also be doing the CTP update, the Comprehensive Transportation Plan update. That is where we make physical changes to projects. I mean, that is something we've discussed when I was meeting with the towns. Some of these projects that are listed are so old and antiquated, they may no longer be relevant, while other more important things may become more relevant, more important. So like Orange Grove Road, transit and other things that need to be done, transit in Southern Orange County or Northern Orange County. So yes, that is something we will be tackling next year.
Two other comments. Done. Page 27, public open house meeting. The third line of that paragraph, Southern Human Services buildings in Chapel Hill, not Hillsborough.
A very good catch. Very good catch. Yes.
On page 43, step 4, references plus I-885, which is the only time I-885 pops up in here, and I didn't have any awareness of an I-885 project.
Thing that connects the Durham Freeway to 85.
Yeah, I think so. That's a long way from
That's,
that.
yes, exactly. Quite fitting.
43.
I-885, I don't know if any of that ever came into Orange County.
Roadway network within Orange County as it existed in 2020, plus the I-885 would be considered as the no-bill network.
Remove I-885.
I wonder if the intent was to put something else there that just didn't,
It was just like a template.
or a different,
Maybe it'd been 85 and just got an extra 8 in there.
that's what I'm thinking.
I-85 is being widened. I mean, that is programmed for being widened. So probably I can check with the consultant. The triangle regional model data that was used was the adopted one, 1.3. This is before it became G2, which is a new model. You know, I'm just reading the whole paragraph right now.
The Wikipedia talks about removing projects from the STEM.
Really?
Yeah. Look up I-885.
That's
The
fascinating.
expansioning was removed from the STIP in 2019.
Hmm.
Huh.
Yes.
What does the mode specific score mean on these?
Mode specific score, the table, this is page 51. Yeah, because you see two different sets of scores that are summed up together, mode specific and additional factors. Mode specific, when the prioritization process to organize and score these projects was done, highway projects were scored one way. They had three different criterias: pavement condition, freight, and congestion mobility. If you look at, let me see if I can find the right page. It's in the, okay, an easier way to do it would be if you look at the packet itself. The attachment 2 in the packet goes into the prioritization process. It's looks like, keep going, keep turning. Before the document, yeah, right there. Starts right there. No, you got the next page. Keep that. If you look at the,
Is that
yes, higher percentage means like the bike ped stuff. The bike ped projects were scored by density and residential employment. It got 13% of a score. Access to schools got 22%. Access to points of interest got 25%. Access to recreation got 8%. Bus stop access was 20%. So all those scores together would make it 100% for bike ped stuff. That's mode specific score. Transit was transit service, regional service, jobs and access, density, place of interest, and hospitals. That was for transit projects. That was mode specific. Highway projects were scored based on improving access, connectivity, managing congestion, and improving freight movement. That determined how highway projects were scored. That's the mode specific score. And then the additional criteria is, the additional scoring criteria was like environmental justice, safety, cost benefit, multimodal were the additional scores. So those two set of scores gave it a total project score. Because a person throughout the course of their day is only using just transit. They're walking, biking, driving their car, or they're changing their mode throughout the day or throughout their week.
it's something? Or
Change the, if you go to the next page. That's how it was scored. That's the most specific score.
Another question?
Yes.
On the map on page 22, in the lower right-hand corner, there's a project 8002.
Yes,
Is that Mount Carmel Church?
I think so. I believe that is Mark Carmel Church, the one that goes into the rural buffer that's in the southeast corner of the county.
And, you know, referring back to the appendix that's coming. And it says the projects table will be found in that appendix also. So will that appendix list the projects table like in a sequential order so we can find them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because the project IDs, either highway project has a specific ID, like pet projects with specific IDs. The table that you see on in this document is just the summary of the results of the prioritization.
top down.
But the appendix is more detailed table of that project because the data that was pulled is from the CTP, the MTP that actually had that data and the model data that went with it.
Okay,
So there'll be more details on the appendix piece rather than the summary result piece.
thank you.
Inland Road isn't a typo, it is a Inland Road, it's very close to 1010.
There's a lot of new roads, new names of roads that I've seen driving around delivering these packets. I've learned that there's a lot of interesting roads out there. Not only road names, but some of them are, I mean, I've seen the erosion breaking off in the shoulder and the lane itself coming apart. Mhm.
They were just a nice little extra.
To move things along with with the suggestions that folks have brought up, I'm willing to make the motion to recommend this to the DOCC.
And let me make sure I have the notes that I have correct and make sure I didn't miss anything. We're going to continue working on public engagement. The public engagement is an umbrella challenge that we're going to continue facing with all projects, and we would be definitely reaching out to more places, schools, and other things and other venues to get more public involved, especially in rural Orange County. I will ask the consultant to see if they can provide some more data regarding the county's data, like any countywide data rather than just the public engagement data. I will also get them to put the public engagement section details into an appendix, just like similar to the short range transit plan. Let me see, remove any references to majority, sum of, or anything regarding respondents, just say respondents or some rather than any quantity. Separate the bike ped project maps to different types so it's easier to read. Change the images to county specific images, so we're not talking about other counties and other states. Remove the I-885 reference unless it's I-85. I'm aware of very little in Northeast Orange County. I'm sure that'll come up, but it is something that we'll have to address when we do the update and the CTP update in the future to identify those new projects. The crosswalk at Kings Highway is something we will pursue through non-STIP. It's not needs to be changed here, but it is a noted to update the next item. Did I miss anything else? Public engagement at parks and public venues where people are actually sitting is something we will update and encourage. And did I miss any? I can't think of missing anything else.
A couple of typos I mentioned.
Typos and those I got reference here. Yeah. The trails has to be because these are the adopted CTP. It just referenced right now, but the update of the trails plan that we do in the future when we do, David, will update this actual document. Right now, I'll look what the CTP says in the BD CSCMPO and see if there was any clear more definition, but pull that from the MPO CTP.
The people at deeper might actually be dealing with that definition.
Like, what's
Not just like an unpaid path, right?
oh, that's what I don't know. Sometimes people use trail and greenway interchangeably. There's a big difference between them.
And
And also, can we get a definition for modernization?
Yes.
Very interested in the qualitative comments here. I think these are very telling of the fun for you. But I don't understand the fee that was generated, and I don't know that like who got to determine this fee. For example, one thing is against bicycles, and I understand what against bicycles it means. But when I read the comment, I don't agree that that means against bicycle. It says either install bike lanes or keep bicycles off rural roads, especially groups of bikes sharing the road versus both ways. I don't say that's against bicycle.
Where is this
It
exactly?
actually Say that, no, they're also for the exact same thing we're for, make the roads better so that we can share them.
What page are you on?
Sorry, I'm on page, I'm on 20, okay, so hold on.
This is the thing we got last night. I mean,
Yeah, it's our,
It's page 20.
I don't think there's. in the-
Comments.
The comments aren't in this, right?
Okay, you're talking about the summary report. Yeah, yeah, okay. Got it.
Census among those themes, because that's the theme that we're going with. And you're kind of doing like a tally of like, oh, there's so many people against, because I think later on. In
Okay.
here, you say things like, there were so many people against bicycles. Well, I don't know that that's true. So
This is,
I'd like to have a little more consensus.
when it comes to surveys, when it comes to public writing something in, this is the stuff that you see on the left side is stuff that they wrote in. We can't change that. We can't edit. On the right. Okay, remove against. I can get them to remove against. I mean, just say bike ped. I mean, rather than saying against anything, it's just the theme is something that you're right. The theme is something the consultant summarized, but yeah. Okay.
Actually, that's a good question. Is it a single person for each one of these, right?
Yeah, this is
Right.
typically one person writing it in. This is
Right,
typically.
but I'm saying each one of those categories, like, do they check 2 boxes and that's their verbatim?
In here. This actually talks about like, so many people were against bicycles. When you look at the summary of the themes. So here, page 32. From the open comment, right, you've got
I see what you mean. Yeah, it says against bicycle. Yeah. Yeah.
not, so that's what I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna put a theme, it has to be
I don't know if it's necessarily a theme.
over here.
We oppose as a
But it's
opposed
kind of,
bicycle.
but it's kind of random, because you've got like over here 4 bike ped, and then over here you got 4 bike ped.
I think
Transit, you got for transit, right? So
that should be for bike. It would just be say bike ped rather than for or against.
I'm just saying, it's like they're not sorted, and like if you were trying to get a theme of comments, it's kind of just a smattering of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not filtered or sorted in a way that you can kind of say there's a theme. Hey, we're talking about bike bed. Here are the comments either for or against it. It's kind of like it's almost like what they did is whoever filled out the written comments, they just took and pasted it one after the other versus having a real theme.
I think those are counter themes rather than themes. Those are the dissenting voices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so whoever did, so let me just clarify, the
Right side, the right column. Yeah.
But did the person self-selected, I guess?
It
My
was
only question was, did they
It's a consultant who did
Oh,
it. The consultant did that. The right side is consultant. This is the public. Yeah, this is consultant.
and then they didn't even lump
See,
it together.
I think that needs to say, most comments favored bicycles. There were 2 comments that could be interpreted.
One clarification is,
Say that they're against bicycles.
one thing I would get the consultant to do is just remove the against. I'll get them to remove against.
Think the against transit's really useful there either.
Right.
Let's highlight these two minority opinions.
No, I'll just get them to remove against. That way, it's just the theme itself, the mode rather than the theme. Yeah. Get them to remove against. So I think I got everything. So the motion to do is to approve with these small changes.
Do we still
Art
have-
first, Heidi second, with changes.
do we still have people connected?
No, Josh has already left.
Then
Huh? We had one more. I think she left. Give me 1 second. I think she also left.
Natalie was-
Natalie also was here earlier. She sent a text and she had to leave. She had another meeting.
Yeah, she did leave.
Yeah, that's it. So we still have quorum here in person.
well, it's time to ask all in favor of the motion and the second with the changes and the comments that Tish narrated. Say aye.
Mine.
All
Thank you.
opposed? Hearing none.
Thank you very much. This will go to the Board of County Commission on the 19th. I think we have plenty of time to make this changes and get those corrections in. Next thing on the agenda is the non-stip. I'm working on doing a better job of this non-stip now that I've actually gone through the entire list. I've summarized the non-stip projects a little better with the funding and the summary of in the abstract to give you a better understanding what the non-stip are. There are more. These are just the main highlights that was continued from the previous cycle. I think there's other funding things that the latest restoration authorization bill gives us, like the Safe Streets for All, Raise Grant, and other grants that are non-STIP related. They're more DOT and FTA and FHWA shaking hands and giving money around and get these improvements done. So I'll find a more list of those kind of things, like connecting communities and other funding things. We also have opportunities to climate action plan and strategic plan to pursue some of these things. So I would do a much better job going forward into improving some of this non-STIP process and funding in the list. So the list you have, so think of it this way. Anything less than $1 million, anything that doesn't involve right of way, NEPA, which is environmental analysis and stuff like that. Anything that's like somebody can take a shovel to or put something in place now that we can do, and by basically talking to a DOT staff member and coordinating that kind of work, they may have to go through some analysis and stuff like that to get it funded. Anything over 250,000 requires local action, like local support, because we have had a letter of support saying our officials really want this kind of stuff to go forward. So to do that, so if y'all have any projects like that, ideas like that, we keep a running list of those things and we work with all kinds of DOT staff. I think when y'all see the monthly reports that y'all see, the yellow table, the yellow bar table that says, here's the projects that are going on in place. On the right side, you'll see different staff members, DOT staff members doing different projects. You've probably seen a lot of SS on the table. The SS means spot safety, which is tons of them, stop signs and intersection improvements and stuff like that. You've seen it spread all over the place. We've got like 12 different bridge projects going on around the county at the same time right now. So this list that you see with you is what I have up to date and understand as I'm going through the reviews and things. And I will add crosswalks and a couple others that we just talked about today. Regarding bollards, I found a vendor who can provide us bollards. I just need to talk to Chuck
Great,
to see if I could just simply buy them and go put them up myself.
I'll help you.
There's a vendor, I have a catalog. They're disposable Orange Grove Road Bridge. I don't want you to get too excited or anything like that, but I'm gonna work with Chuck and say, okay, here's a catalog from a vendor who can provide me removable bollards. Can I put this on the bridge with either permanent glue or something like that so that people can walk across that bridge safely till you replace? I've seen this going around so many places in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, other counties have been doing it themselves. I mean, people have been just simply getting their
Same.
asset management, public works services to simply put something out there as temporary.
It's gonna go turn down toward the school and there's a one-way road coming out. So they're on the sidewalk, but the sidewalk's full of pedestrians. So
Mhm.
somebody started putting jack-o'-lanterns out there to block parking spaces so they have a contraflow bike
Yeah.
lane going in.
Yeah,
And the town is supposed to be doing a permanent one, but until they do, every single morning, the principal or the teachers go out there and they put they have cones now.
yeah.
Pumpkins, but I kind of like the pumpkins. I do, it's like, just do something orange.
Right, it's small, temporary, it's locally done, local administered.
It's October.
It's October.
Carver, that Carver Elementary intersection has a lot of similarities to the school over here on St. Mary's Road. Some of the same problems. With the side road coming in at a rate.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Apple, Chair Apple has expressed a lot of concern with that in that area too, absolutely. I mean, yeah, October is here for pumpkins and Christmas here for December. I mean, do the same thing again in Christmas or Thanksgiving and every holiday have something out there, but I would work with I would talk to DOT, see if I can get something done temporarily and Band-Aid stuff that other places are doing.
I'm curious about a word on attachment 1. Down under spot safety mobility, previous projects, old NC 10 of Lawrence Road, horizontal curve and superfetation.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. Yeah, that's.
Fetation because I have a co-write on the song, You're Already Pregnant, What Harm Could I Do?
Okay, I don't know. That's my miss. I think that's what happens when you copy and paste stuff, not clean it up. My mistake. I'll clean that up in the next round. I don't remember. The high impact, low cost is very administrative. It is something DOT started out 4 years ago. We got a couple projects through and now it's like their secret piggy bank. I don't know how. I haven't heard any more update about it. I'll have to bug Chuck and get more information about what's going on with that. Because it's supposed to be every 2 years, projects are reviewed every year, and whether that funding continues or not. I mean, it's supposed to be as part of the DOT's annual budget done administratively, staff just reviews it. When the scoring criteria changes. Yeah, only thing I know that's happened here in Orange County with that high impact, low cost is the slip lane that was added on 70 and 86. Yeah, yeah, I remember. The other thing was the Eflin Church Road that goes on from Eflin that goes north to 86. There was realignment done of that curb and that street that was done with that funding. Those are the only two projects that I'm aware of. We're focusing on rural Orange County. I mean, Carborough pursues spot safety and mobility through their own. They're dealing with DOT. Until it's actually funded in the STIP, they can't say implemented. Until it's actually programming this, then they could, because I got a DOT, when they do program it funded, DOT sent me a letter saying, yes, we will have multimodal accommodations as part of the project. When it gets funded improvement, I will show them their own letter, that you promised that you would get multimodal. Yeah. I can rephrase it that way because I do have the letter in writing from DOT.
Accordance is misspelled in that paragraph and the one below it.
I'll make those two changes.
But it's not specifically in here. I know we talked about Orange Grove Road and there's definitely things we have it in here, for specific things, but this actual stoplight at Oak.
Oakdale, yes. I will go back and review my notes and my information because a couple years ago, Tom, my previous supervisor, helped pursue that. I think DOT, Dane McPherson did it at one point, but realized there was a lot of backup on Oakdale and removed the light.
Yes, there is backup. However,
But I think I think that when they did it,
if there was something there flashing, whatever it could be, would help prevent that from happening and the accidents that happen there. And it would also potentially calm some of the traffic that's going through there for the students who are currently walking there until the time being where we actually get through them. And I also think it could, if timed well, could actually coordinate who's going one direction versus the other so that the students who are walking there, the car would actually be able to take more space to get around those students, so.
can I ask
I
a
hate to
question?
sound like a broken record.
Can I ask a question? Knowing that traffic and problems have been going on more in that area, would you request that area be restudied? That intersection for spot safety itself? It was studied when, please understand, it was a few years ago, it was studied. Huh? That house has been ran into like 4 times since I've been here. I mean, the car was literally in the yard, in the house. I mean, I've heard stories and seen stories of the car going into the house that's at way in the back in the setbacks and behind the yard. But I think Dane McPherson did put a signal and stuff. It studied a few years ago and didn't turn out so well, but because of increasing problems, and I was used the Safe Road School Plan as my leverage with DOT to say this area needs to be restudied, reanalyzed for spot safety.
Definitely.
They actually studied the traffic patterns that were going in there, they probably could effectively time those lights during appropriate times. And it would also prevent the people, since it's a light and they have to stop, hopefully they stop when it's red. It would also prevent, and I mean, I think you could just do a one day and see the amount of people who are driving erratically to try to get out of Oakdale to make it onto, Orange Grove Road and doing all sorts of like wide maneuvers to like avoid the oncoming traffic. I don't know why there's not even more
It
accidents.
will take me some time, but I will try to get them to pursue a spot safety analysis for that intersection again. Understood, and I do agree that the area has gotten worse because I'm driving them every day now, so. It's worse when I'm driving down that road and the school bus is right there. And making a left at Oakdale. I mean, your kids walking across the street and school bus in that area. Yep. I will look into it and get back to you. Thank you for this update. I will add those things to that update and improve the process of coordinating that kind of work. Next time you see, you'll probably see some more funding opportunities to pursue those administrative projects. Last in your packet is the updates on the construction in progress and projects. The I-40 widening as of this morning, just found out that maybe 2026 it was complete because the pushbacks and stuff. I-40 widening. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other updates, all the projects that were submitted in spot 7 that got scored that are in division stuff right now is going through express designs. So DOT is doing express design on all projects that were submitted for spot 7 scoring. That includes the 70 widening. The express design purpose is not a design, is not really a design project of designing that widening or multimodal accommodations, is to find out what it would cost DOT to put multimodal accommodations on US 70 and improve that road all the way from the corridor study that was approved and adopted from West Bevan to East Orange County to determine what it would cost, including reducing speeds. And that is something I'll be working with DOT to help pursue because the speed reduction on 70 has become a higher priority because of the recent, you probably saw the news last month of the kid that got killed on US 70. It was very tragic, and it's something we will be working with DOT to address safety until any other. Right. And thank you so much for speaking up at that meeting. Thank you. Very appreciated. Any other questions? If not, then we're, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Very grateful.